something that might sting a little. You're not exhausted because life is hard. You're exhausted because you're living out of alignment with your soul. And no, that doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It means you've been surviving instead of inhabiting yourself. Now, most people don't wake up and say, today I will betray my soul. They wake up and say, I just need to get through the day. And slowly, quietly, that becomes a lifestyle. Your soul number isn't some cute numerology fact. It's not a personality trait, and it's not a label. It's the frequency your nervous system recognizes as home. And if you've ever been taught how to live from it, of course you're tired. If you're new here, hi, I'm Cherry. I'm a spiritual coach, numerologist, and the friend who loves you enough to tell you the truth instead of spiritualizing your burnout. This video isn't about fixing you. It's about helping you stop abandoning yourself without realizing you're doing it. Your soul number reveals how your soul wants to move through the world on a daily basis. Not who you should be, but how you're designed to experience life. And the kicker, most people don't live their soul number. They live their coping strategy. So let's get something straight before we go any further. You do not feel lost because you don't know your purpose. I know that might piss off the spiritual industry a little, but I'm saying it anyway. Most people I work with don't lack purpose. They lack permission to live in a way that actually suits their nervous system. And no one teaches you that. You're taught to chase your mission, your calling, your destiny, your why. But you're never taught how to exist comfortably inside your own body on a Tuesday afternoon. And that's the problem, because purpose doesn't live in the future. It lives in your daily behavior. And when your daily behavior contradicts your soul number, your body will feel it first. That's why you feel tired for no clear reason, emotionally flat, irritated by the smallest things, disconnected from yourself, unmotivated, even when life looks fine. That's not laziness. That's misalignment. And here's the lie most of us swallow without realizing it. I just need to get through this phase, and then I'll rest. I'll honor myself, but later. I'll be me once things calm down. Let me lovingly call you out. Later never comes, because survival habits feel productive. They feel responsible. They feel adult, but they slowly starve your soul. And here's the kicker most people miss. You can be spiritual, self-aware, emotionally intelligent, and still be living completely out of alignment with your soul number. Because alignment isn't about what you believe, it's about what you do on autopilot. Your soul number isn't expressed in your vision board. It's expressed in how you make decisions, how quickly you override your needs, how you respond to pressure, how you speak to yourself when no one is watching. And if those behaviors are rooted in coping instead of truth, your soul will feel cramped inside your own life. Now, trauma doesn't change your soul number, it hacks it. This is important, so listen closely. Trauma does not remove your soul number, it overlays it with survival behavior. Your soul number is the original frequency. Your coping strategies are the distortion. And most people confuse the distortion for their personality. They say things like, I'm just someone who puts others first. I don't really need much. I'm better when I'm busy. Or I'm not that emotional. I don't like being the center of attention. But when we actually look at their soul numbers, it tells a completely different story. What they call who I am is often who they had to become to stay safe, who was rewarded, who didn't chase problems, who kept the peace. And that version of them, that version is exhausted. Your body knows when you're living a lie, even a little polite one. Your soul misalignment shows up in small daily ways. And here's where I want you to really pay attention. Soul misalignment doesn't usually show up as a dramatic breakdown. It shows up as 1,000 tiny betrayals. You say yes when your body says no. You explain yourself when you don't need to. You stay quiet to keep things smooth. You push through when rest would be much wiser. You minimize your feelings so no one feels uncomfortable. And then you wonder why you feel numb, resentful, or disconnected. Let me say this clearly. You don't burn out from doing too much. You burn out from doing too much of what wasn't true for you. Your soul number has a rhythm, a pace, a way it wants to move through the world. And when your daily life constantly interrupts that rhythm, your nervous system goes into low-grade flight or flight. Not panic, not crisis, just depletion. And purpose doesn't fix this. This is where you get stuck. You think, if I just knew my purpose, everything would make sense. But purpose doesn't override misalignment. It actually amplifies it. If your daily behavior contradicts your soul number, purpose will feel heavy instead of inspiring. You'll say things like, I should be excited, but I'm not. This is what I wanted, so why do I feel off? Maybe I'm just ungrateful. No, you're just tired of living out of sync with yourself. Your soul doesn't want a bigger mission. It wants congruency. And congruency starts with how you live, not what you aim for. So here's the reframe I want you to sit with. Your work is not to become your soul number. Your work is to stop betraying it in small, sociably accepted ways. Alignment isn't a leap. It's a series of tiny little returns, choosing differently, responding honestly, letting your nervous system relax because you're no longer forcing yourself to be someone easier to digest. And from that place, clarity returns, energy returns, desire returns. Not because you've fixed yourself, but because you've stopped abandoning yourself. And this is where we go deeper, because now that you understand why daily behavior matters, the next question becomes, what does alignment actually look like for your soul number in real life, not theory? And that's exactly where we're going next. Soul number one, the initiator. Your core nervous system themes, your autonomy versus collapse. Your soul needs choice, self-direction, internal authority. So let's start with soul number one, because this one is often the most misunderstood. I know because I am a soul one. Soul ones are not here to be aggressive, dominant, or lone wolves. They're here to feel self-directed in their bodies. And when a soul one doesn't feel like they have choice, their nervous system collapses. Not dramatically, quietly. A soul one in misalignment often lives in a freeze form response, waiting for permission, second-guessing decisions, over-explaining, outsourcing authority. Their bodies feel heavy, their chest tightens, their energy drops the moment they have to ask instead of choose. And they tell themselves, I'm just indecisive. I don't trust myself. I need more clarity. No, your nervous system is reacting to loss of autonomy. For a soul one, alignment isn't confidence. It's choice before safety. Somatically, alignment looks like a deep breath after making a decision. Energy returning to the spine, warmth in the chest, less mental looping. A daily regulation practice for soul one, make one unapologetic decision early in the day. Notice where your body softens when you choose. Stop explaining choices that don't need defending. Soul ones don't need more courage. They need fewer cages disguised as responsibility. Soul two is the feeler. Your core nervous system themes is safety versus hypervigilance. Your soul needs emotional attunement, gentleness, co-regulation. Souls too live in their nervous system first, not their mind. And most of them learned very early that their feelings were inconvenient. So they adapted. They became easy, low maintenance, understanding. But here's what really happened in the body of a misaligned soul two. Their nervous system is constantly scanning, reading the room, tracking tones, shifts, monitoring micro expressions. That's not intuition. That's hypervigilance. A dysregulated soul two often feels tight in the throat, shallow breathing, constant fatigue, emotional overwhelm, followed by numbness. And they say, I'm just sensitive. I absorb other people's emotion. No, you're living without emotional safety. Alignment for soul two is slow relational regulation. Somatic alignment feels like breath dropping into the belly, shoulders soften, emotions moving instead of sticking, a sense of being held, not braced. A daily regulation practice for soul two, name your feeling before managing anybody else's. Choose environments that feel kind, not impressive. Practice saying, I need a moment. Soul twos don't need thicker skin. They need a safer space. Soul three is the expressionist. The core nervous system themes is expression versus constriction. Your soul needs movement, voice, play, creativity. A soul three's nervous system is designed to move energy outward. When they can't express, energy turns inward and becomes anxiety, frustration, or depression. A misaligned three often lives in a functional freeze, doing what's required, being responsible, holding it together. But inside, their chest feels tight, Their jaw clenches. Their body buzzes with unspoken words. They say, I don't know what I feel. I'm tired all the time. But what they really are is suppressed. Alignment for Soul 3 is not productivity. It's expression without outcome. Somatically aligned feels like energy moving through the throat, spontaneous laughter, relaxed belly, a sense of aliveness. A daily regulation practice for Soul 3 is speak before perfecting, create without monetizing. Let your voice be messy. Soul 3s don't burn out from doing too much. They burn out from being too quiet. Soul 4 is the builder. The core nervous system theme is safety versus chaos. This soul needs predictability, structure, stability. Soul 4s regulate through consistency. And yet so many Soul 4s live in self-created chaos, trying to be flexible or easygoing. Let me be blunt. That is dysregulation in your nervous system. A misaligned 4 lives in low-grade anxiety, tight hips, clenched jaw, shallow breathing, constant mental planning. They often say, I feel on edge, I can't relax. That's because your body doesn't feel safe without structure. Alignment for Soul 4 is devotion to rhythm. Somatically, alignment feels like grounded feet, steady breath, relaxed digestion, a sense of containment. A daily regulation practice for Soul 4, create non-negotiable routines, simplify commitments, stop apologizing for needing structure. Soul 4s aren't rigid. They're regulated by order. Now, Soul 5 is the freedom seeker. Your core nervous system theme is expansion versus constriction. Your soul needs choice, movement, novelty. Soul 5s have nervous systems wired for expansion. When they feel trapped, even subtly, their system goes into fight or flight. Misaligned 5s feel restless, irritated, scattered, emotionally reactive. Their bodies can feel tight. Their energy spikes, then crashes. They say things like, I just need to push through. I can't commit. But the truth is, their nervous system is resisting confinement. Alignment for Soul 5 is spacious commitment. Somatically, alignment feels like deeper breaths, relaxed shoulders, grounded excitement, sustained energy. Daily regulation practice for a Soul 5 is build space into plans. Choose flexibility over obligation. And honor your needs for movement. Soul 5s aren't unreliable. They're suffocated by rigidity. Now, if you've been listening and thinking, oh shit, that's me, good, because awareness is regulation's doorway. Now, next, we're going to go even deeper into the soul numbers that carry responsibility, power, depth, and collective weight, and how they burn out trying to be everything for everyone. 6 is the core nervous system for responsibility and self-regulation. Your soul needs care without limits, reciprocal harmony, grounded love. Soul 6s are not here to save everyone, but most of them were trained to. From a nervous system perspective, Soul 6s regulate through felt harmony, when relationships feel balanced, fair, and emotionally safe. But trauma teaches them this lie. If everyone else is okay, then I'll be okay. So the nervous system becomes externally orientated. They track who needs support, who's upset, who might fall apart, who they might disappoint, and their body lives in chronic forms response. Somatically, a misaligned Soul 6 often experiences a tight chest, shallow breathing, heaviness in the heart, exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix. They'll say, I'm just caring. Oh, I don't mind helping. It's easy if I do it. But underneath that, their nervous system is overloaded with false responsibility. Alignment for Soul 6s is not withdrawal, it's self-referencing before caretaking. So somatically, alignment feels like breath returning to the belly, shoulders dropping, warmth without heaviness, emotional spaciousness. A daily regulation practice for a Soul 6, ask, is this actually mine before responding? Allow others to feel discomfort without fixing. Practice care that doesn't cost you your body. A Soul 6 burnout looks like resentment wrapped in kindness. And the healing, let love be shared, not carried alone. Soul number 7 is the seeker. Core nervous system theme is depth versus overstimulation. Your soul needs solitude, meaning, inner spaciousness. Soul 7s have nervous system designed for depth and quiet processing. They regulate through stillness, contemplation, inner inquiry. But many soul sevens learn early that being inward was misunderstood. Needing space was judged. Depth made others uncomfortable. So they adapted. They became busy, available, productive, and their nervous system never got to rest. Misaligned sevens often live in functional disassociation, mentally active, emotionally distant, spiritually curious, but exhausted. Somatically, this looks like tension behind the eyes, headaches, shallow breathing, numbness or detachment. They'll say things like, I just feel disconnected. I don't know what I want. But the truth is their nervous system is overstimulated and under-resourced. Alignment for Soul 7 is intentional withdrawal, not isolation, but sacred space. Somatically, alignment feels like breath slowing naturally, intuition sharpening. A daily regulation practice for Soul 7 is schedule solitude like medicine. Reduce noise before adding insight. Trust what you know without over-researching. Soul 7s don't need more answers. They need less interference. Soul 8 is the authority. Core nervous system theme is power versus suppression. Your soul needs self-trust, impact, embodied leadership. Soul 8s have nervous system wired for command and capacity. They regulate through agency, decision-making, tangible impact. But many Soul 8s learn that their power was intimidating, unsafe, or too much. So they shrank, they delayed, they softened, they waited to be chosen. And their nervous system stayed in restrained flight or fight. Somatically, misaligned Soul 8 feel tension in their jaw, pressure in their chest, restless legs, suppressed anger. They'll say things like, I don't want to seem arrogant, I don't want to get it wrong. But what's really happening is their body is holding unexpressed authority. Alignment for Soul 8 is decisive self-trust. Somatically, alignment feels like grounded strength in the legs, steady breath, a relaxed jaw, calm confidence. A daily regulation practice for Soul 8, make clear decisions quickly. Stop outsourcing your authority. Let yourself be seen in your power. Soul 8s don't burn out from responsibility. They burn out from holding back their force. Now, Soul 9 is the humanitarian. Core nervous system theme is completion versus over-identification. Your soul needs purpose with closure, contribution without martyrdom. A Soul 9 carries collective awareness in their nervous system. They feel injustice, suffering, emotional undercurrents. Their system is wired to sense the whole, but without boundaries, that becomes emotional flooding. Misaligned Soul 9s often live in chronic grief, exhaustion, savior patterns, difficult letting go. Somatically, this shows up as heaviness in the body, low energy, emotional overwhelm, difficulty resting. They'll say, I can't switch off. I feel responsible for more than just myself, because they are, but not in the way they think. Alignment for 9s is purpose with containment. Somatically, alignment feels like emotional flow without the collapse. Grounded compassion, lightness after the release, renewed vitality. A daily regulation practice for a Soul 9 is consciously complete emotional cycles. Practice letting endings be final. Choose joy without guilt. 9s aren't here to suffer for the world. They're here to transmute and then rest. So if you recognize yourself in your soul number, your body already knows what alignment feels like. This isn't about changing who you are. It's about stopping the quiet, daily overrides that keep your nervous system braced. Alignment feels like relief, like an exhale, like coming home to yourself. And from that place, life doesn't just make sense. It becomes livable. So let me say this again, slowly, not for your mind, but for your body. You are not broken. You're just living someone else's soul number. And I know how confronting that can feel, because for so long, you've thought something is wrong with me. I'm too much. I'm not enough. Everyone else seems to be better than coping than I do. But what if none of that is true? What if what you've been calling broken is actually your nervous system saying, this isn't how I'm meant to move? We pathologize ourselves for reactions that make perfect sense in the wrong environment. A fish doesn't fail at climbing a tree. It just wasn't designed for it. And neither were you. Now here's the part no one tells you. When you live out of alignment with your soul number long enough, your body starts sending signals, not to punish you, but to get your attention, fatigue, anxiety, numbness, depression, irritability, brain fog. And instead of asking, what am I forcing myself to be? You ask, what's wrong with me? That question alone keeps people stuck for years because the nervous system doesn't speak in words. It speaks in sensation. And when sensation is ignored, it gets louder. Not because you're weak, because you're wise. Now, healing is a return, not a reinvention. This is where healing gets misunderstood. Healing is not becoming calmer, nicer, quieter, more spiritual, or more evolved. Healing is returning to the original rhythm of your body, recognized before it had to adapt. Before you learned who to be loved, how to be easy, how to be useful, how to be invisible. Your soul number existed before the coping, and your nervous system remembers it. That's why alignment feels like relief instead of effort. That soft exhale, that warmth, that sense of, oh, this feels right. That's not healing, that's recognition. Now, shame is a sign you've been trying too hard. So let me talk about shame for a moment. Shame isn't proof you're flawed. It's proof you've been trying to meet expectations that were never designed for you. Shame often arises when a soul 2 tries to be emotionally self-sufficient. A soul 5 tries to stay contained. A soul 7 tries to constantly be available. A soul 8 tries to stay small. A soul 6 tries not to care. Your body resists when it isn't true. And instead of honoring that resistance, you internalize it. You called it weakness, sensitivity, failure, but it was wisdom. And this is the truth that lands in the body. So if you take nothing else from this section, let it be this. You don't need fixing. You need permission. Permission to live at the pace your nervous system recognizes. Permission to respond the way your soul number naturally does. Permission to stop performing functionality at the cost of embodiment. Healing isn't becoming someone new. It's returning to how your soul already knows how to move. Let that land. Let the body soften. You were never broken. You were just trying to survive in a rhythm that wasn't yours. And now that you can see the difference between misalignment and defectiveness, between coping and truth, between survival and soul, the next step isn't analysis, it's integration. And that's where we're going next. Up until now, you've been understanding. You've been recognizing patterns, seeing yourself, connecting the dots. And that is powerful. But integration doesn't happen in the mind. It happens in the body, quietly, subtly, without performance. So before we do anything else, just pause. No fixing, no analyzing, no trying to get it right. Let your nervous system catch up to the truth it's just heard. Because insight without integration can actually feel overwhelming. And I'm not here to overload you. I'm here to bring you home. So if this feels safe for you, let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw unclench. Let your breath deepen. Not forcibly, just naturally. Notice, where does your body feel a little less braced than it did earlier? That's softening. That's alignment beginning. Not because you changed anything, but because you stopped arguing with yourself. Your nervous system doesn't need you to understand everything. It needs you to stop overriding it. Now, here's where integration becomes practical. Not overwhelming, not dramatic, just honest. Ask yourself gently, where today did I override my soul number? Not with judgment, with curiosity. Maybe it was saying yes when your body tightened, staying quiet when your chest wanted to speak, pushing through when rest would have regulated you, carrying responsibility that wasn't yours. And now the more important question, what would one small act of alignment look like tomorrow? Not a life overhaul, not a personality transplant, just one choice that lets your nervous system exhale. Alignment doesn't require courage. It requires honesty. You have to learn to trust the body's signals. Here's what I want you to remember. Alignment feels like relief, not excitement, not intensity, relief. If something feels calmer, steadier, quieter, that's not you giving up. That's your nervous system recognizing safety. And safety is where clarity comes from. Confidence comes from. Energy returns from. You don't need to rush this. You don't need to perfect it. Your body already knows the way back. All you have to do is stop dragging it in the opposite direction. So let this be enough for today. One breath, one honest choice, one moment of listening instead of overriding. That's how embodiment happens. That's how trust rebuilds. That's how alignment becomes real. And when you're ready, we move into what comes next. Not from pressure, but from grounded, regulated sense of self. Here's what I know about you if you've stayed with me this long. Something's clicked. Something has softened. Something made sense in a way it maybe never has before. And now there might be a quiet question inside you. Okay, but how do I actually live this? That question doesn't mean you're behind. It means your nervous system is ready for support, not survival. And I want to say this clearly because so many people need to hear it. Wanting guidance doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're self-aware. You don't need more information. You need personalized alignment. So let me gently call something out. Most people get stuck right here. They understand themselves. They see the patterns. They know their numbers. They still live the same way. Not because they're lazy, not because they're failing, but because your nervous system can't rewire in isolation, especially if you've spent your entire life managing, self-soothing, and self-abandoning. Insight without support turns into self-monitoring. And that's not healing, that's another coping strategy. And at some point, embodiment requires being seen. This is exactly why I offer a breakthrough session with me. And let me be clear what this is and what it's not. This is not a surface level reading, a personality breakdown. Here's your numbers, good luck situation. This is a nervous system aware, soul level recalibration. We look at how your soul number wants to move daily, where you're overriding yourself, how your karma and life paths have shaped your coping, where boundaries are collapsing, and what alignment actually looks like in your real life. Not theory, not labels, application. So you can stop guessing and start trusting yourself again. And I want you to hear this part clearly. You don't have to book anything. You don't have to decide today. You don't have to do more work. But is something in your body relaxed while listening to this? If you felt seen instead of analyzed, if you recognized yourself instead of judging yourself, that's your nervous system responding to truth. And that's usually the moment support actually helps, not before. Also in the description box below, my free numerology quick guide, so you can know what your soul number is. So wherever you are right now, just remember this: you are never broken. You are just living out of alignment with your soul's natural rhythm. And alignment isn't something you earn. It's something you allow. If you're ready to be guided back into that rhythm, the Numerology quick guide is down in the description box below, like I said. And if not, let today still count. One honest choice, one moment of listening, one step closer to yourself. That's enough. So thank you for being here. Thank you for staying. And thank you for choosing presence over pressure. And remember, you don't need fixing, you need remembering. I would also love to ask you, if you did get something out of this video, hit that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, share this with somebody else who you think this might be useful for. Until next time, bye for now.